What's going on everybody, this is Kart and I'm back with a new video. I'm a huge fan of alien movies, aesthetic and atmosphere. A really important aspect in creating these moods will be the use of volumetric lighting. So today we'll discover together how to create and set up the render of volumetric lights, like a pro, properly done to make your VFX compositors happy. As always, everything will be done in Maya with the mighty Arnold render. So get relaxed, grab a coffee or a cup of tea, and let's roll the intro!
So guys, first thing first, let's search for an interesting model. So if you are looking for some cool 3D models, cgtrader.com is a cool website to know. Let's search for a badass model of a xenomorph to create this kind of atmosphere. Let's download this model, as it has immediately grabbed my attention. Okay then, I've just fired up Maya. This model is really well made, really digging the pose, the sculpt, everything. So I've set up a basic look dev scene with the downloaded model. If we look a moment to the setup of the scene, it's pretty basic. We've got an HDRI, a light on the right to accentuate the direction of the global composition, and a rim light. And of course a backdrop. The camera is set up with a low angle shot to make the figurine more imposing and bold. For the main shader of the xenomorph, I've reused and tweaked a little bit my realistic plastic shader that we've seen in a previous video. If you are interested of how I've made it, click on the card in the upper right corner of the video to watch it. Then, for the shader of the background, it's a simple shader with a texture in the roughness channel to create some surface imperfections. Let's launch the IPR to see what we've got. Really nice. Now let's discover together how to create and set up a volumetric light. So first off, let's create a Maya spotlight. We can now scale it, rotate it and put it in place. For the setup of it, go in the Spotlight Shape tab and under the Arnold tab, increase the exposure to 10 and the sample to 2. Unflag the normalize flag. Okay then, let's lower the exposure to 3 and add a decay rate. Let's choose quadratic to simulate a more realistic light. Let's refresh the IPR. Nothing. Right, I forgot to input a radius. Much better. Let's also configure the cone angle and the penumbra angle to 20. Sweet. Small tweaks on the light position. Now let's add our volumetrics to the light. To do so, open the Render Settings panel. Under the Arnold Render tab and Environment, right-click on Atmosphere Checker icon and choose Create AI Atmosphere Volume. Now, in the Attribute Editor, if we increase the density, a lot of volumetrics will appear. We can lower the color too to adjust the intensity. But the better way of doing it is to input a really low value in the density like 0.030. Sweet. With the attenuation parameter, we can reduce the global force of it. Let's remove it for now. Okay, if we look closer, we've got a problem. All the lights in the scene are creating volumetrics. That's not what we want. A quick, simple and effective way of tweaking it is to select the light and go under the Visibility tab and put the volume value to 0. Let's do exactly the same thing to the second light. Boom, solved. Now let's add some complexity by adding a volume noise in the color. Let's tweak the settings to have something that works well. Nice. Let's tweak it furthermore. Really nice. Another nice tip. In the Spotlight Shape tab under Arnold section, you can control the aspect ratio of the spotlight. Let's change it to 0.25. Nice. Let's tweak a bit the position and rotation of the light again. Yeah, better.
Hey you, I know you are watching my video and I know you are not subscribed yet. It's literally so easy, just go down there and boom, press subscribe. So like this video, comment and hit the subscribe button. Now back to the sweet shader.
Now another cool trick. If you want to control the length of the volumetric, go in the Spotlight Shape tab and under Light Filter, click on Add. Select Light Decay. Double-click on it to go to its parameters. You can tweak the far attenuation to control the decay of the volumetric. Let's change the far end to 200. Okay, now that we have our volumetric light setup, let's see how to set up the render layers for compositing in a smart way. But first off, let's check the samples of the light. Let's increase it to 3. Open the render settings and let's change our sampling value for production quality. Now let's add our ROVs for compositing. So the depth, coat, diffuse, specular direct and indirect, subscattering surface, and cryptomates. Okay, good. Then open the render setup panel. We want to create 2 passes, one with the beauty and the secondary one with only the volumetric light. To do so, click on the plus button to create a render setup layer. Rename it to beauty. Then right-click and add a collection. Rename it to geometries, for example. Then click on the eye to switch to this render layer. Now let's add our geometries to the collection with a drag and drop. Now to create the second render layer, click again on the plus button to create a render setup layer. Rename it to volumetric lights. Once again, right-click and add a collection. Rename it to geometries. Then click on the eye to switch to this render layer and let's add our geos once again. Okay, now we've got 2 render layers that are exactly the same. So in the first render layer we want to deactivate the volumetrics. Click on the spotlight under the Arnold tab. Put the volume value to 0. Let's launch the IPR to see what we've got. Okay, perfect. Now switch to the second render layer by clicking on the eye. Okay, we want to have everything black and only the volumetric light visible. So let's go to the Hypershade and create an IE flat shader. Change the color to black. Let's rename it. Now on the geometries collection of the render layer, right-click and choose Shader Override. Now drag and drop the IE black shader to the Shader Override slot. Let's refresh the IPR to see if everything works. Okay, now everything is black, but we need to activate the volumetric light. So for example, if we click on the right light under Visibility tab, right-click and select Create Absolute Override and change the value to 0.1. Boom! It works. So let's undo that, because we want to do it on the spotlight. So let's do exactly the same as before. Okay, 0.1, it's too low. Let's change it to 1. Really nice. Let's control the beauty render layer once again. Okay, perfect. Let's switch to the volumetric lights render layer once again. Let's delete the override on the right light. Now on this particular render layer, we don't need all these AOVs, so let's create overrides for all of them. Now we are ready to render. Okay, last but not least, the compositing. This time I've done it in After Effects, so let's do a little breakdown. First, we've got the main part, the xenomorph. So I've done the beauty reconstruction and add a bunch of adjustment layers to correct and adjust little things. Then the second layer, the volumetric light. In a pre-comp, we've got the render layer. Then I've added a turbulent noise on top to add complexity. Then a minor adjustment. And finally the color grading. So back to the main comp, I've added some depth of field using the ZAOV. Then for the final touches, I've added some green leaks, a vignette, some other color adjustments, some glare and gloom, chromatic aberration, a photographic LUT, and finally some grain. And boom, the final result. Really nice. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comment section. This is a really cool way of doing some dark and moody atmosphere using some volumetric lights.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, you know what to do, subscribe to my channel for more awesomeness. And I see you guys in the next video.